All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation. Fingers are crossed as we await judicial decisions on the intense political turmoil in Rivers State, South Nigeria. The Supreme Court has reserved judgment in 4 separate appeals concerning the political crisis in the state. The 5-member panel of justices, led by Justice Musa Abba Aji, said a new date will be communicated to the parties in the case. In a related development, the Supreme Court dismissed an appeal by Governor Siminalayi Fubara challenging a judgment that mandated him to represent the state's 2024 appropriation bill before the faction of the State House of Assembly led by Martin Amewule. Now let's share this story by TVC News Ademola for more on this.
The legal battle began in December 2023 when Governor Fubara presented a 2024 budget to only 5 lawmakers from the Edison Heyi-led faction of the Assembly, sidelining the majority 27 lawmakers of the Assembly. In January 2024, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja nullified the presentation and passage of the budget, ruling it as illegal. The judge directed Governor Fubara to represent the budget to the legally constituted House of Assembly under Amewule's leadership. The Court of Appeal in Abuja upheld the judgment in October 2024, affirming that the budget presentation and passage violated constitutional procedures. But today, the court, in a ruling delivered by Justice Musa Muhammad, struck out the case after Mr. Fubara's legal team, led by Yusuf Ali, a senior advocate of Nigeria, withdrew the appeal.
The appeal by the governor of Rivers State was dismissed by the Supreme Court this morning, following the notice of withdrawal by the governor of the appeal he filed. Consequently, the decisions of the Court of Appeal and that of the Federal High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice Omotosho J, affirming that the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Honorable Martin Amewule, and the other 26 members of the House of Assembly are the authentic members of that House of Assembly.
With this judgment, it's safe to say the 27 lawmakers can now fully resume their roles in the Assembly. Martin
Amewule is the leader, that is the Speaker of the House of Assembly. So that is the position today, and I must add that the Court of Appeal had admonished and clearly stated that the House, purportedly being led by a 3-man panel, is not the Rivers State House of Assembly.
With the dismissal of the governor's appeal, Governor Fubara is now compelled to comply with the court's directive to re-represent the 2024 budget to the Amewule's led assembly. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, thank you, Ademola Lawrence. Biko, the Supreme Court reserving judgment in 4 appeals. What do you make of this development?
Well, there are some cases that have been on for some time, for which we expect the Supreme Court to decide upon. The Rivers State Assembly against Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, you know. There is the appeal court ruling that it was wrong to withhold the funds due to Rivers State from FAC.
Okay.
There is the judgment of Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court against the conduct of the local government election.
Yes.
Another court barred INEC from releasing
the
voters' register to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission for the conduct of local government election. All of these cases were appealed. Fubara won majority of them, like the case of the withholding of Rivers State funds. Fubara won an appeal. The decision of the court to stop the conduct of the local government election, that was another matter. Again, Fubara won. Now there is the there's a matter of Attorney General of Rivers State spending funds that Martin Amewule and others deemed.
I think Accountant General.
Yeah, the Accountant General of the state spending funds that they deemed illegal. Okay. Because they felt that the budget was not properly passed.
Okay.
So all of these issues would be decided upon, and they were brought by different people, not just the House of Assembly alone. Different people filed suits. Now, they all went to appeal. So it's the final court will decide on all of these matters. But as I've said before, the biggest decision that we are awaiting is whether Martin Amewule and co had ceased to be members of the House, because the governor predicated his decision to not go before them to present the budget on the fact that, in his view, they had lost their seats. This is unprecedented. There's nowhere in Nigerian history where this has happened. Nowhere. Where a governor will say, okay, so people, they've lost their seat, therefore I'm not coming before them. Nowhere. And as I've said before, I'm waiting for some of the lawyers who go on air to talk about cases that have not been decided, to mention where and when people lost their seats automatically because they defected. And I insist that it is the courts that take those seats from them. The same way the INEC has not got the power to, after giving people a certificate of return, INEC has not got the power to say, well, I withdraw it. It's a court of law.
It's the courts that will order.
So, in this case, those guys, the courts will determine, the final court will determine whether they deserve to keep their seat. You can see from some of the comments that we've been getting, even after our program yesterday, everyone thinks that that is the major case. And what Fubara's lawyers did was simply to take away the lesser evil. They didn't want a situation in which, if that judgment went against them, it will rub off on other cases.
The other cases, okay.
So they decided to say, okay, this one, we don't need it. And you can see they are excited to talk about it, that, it's overtaken by events, But I think that at the end of the day, with everything considered, the Supreme Court did the right thing when parties join issues. And you, as the plaintiff, you just decided on your own that you are going to withdraw. The court would then dismiss the matter on merit. You can see that one of those lawyers asks that, no, don't strike out, dismiss. He demanded that the Supreme Court should dismiss the matter. There is a reason for any course of action. It's usually ruled in favor of the other party with merit. And this is what happened yesterday. So they didn't need that case. So they knew what they were doing. It's it's political brinksmanship. I won't say political strategy or something. It is brinksmanship. They don't need it. They don't need that case. And they didn't want the Supreme Court to enter judgment, in which case, if it does not favor them, will now rub off on other cases. So they didn't want, one case. It's just like the Supreme Court can decide on a matter which would then affect up to 5 other. If you watch the judgment of the Supreme Court in Tinubu's presidency, over Tinubu's presidency, you will see where once a particular matter is decided upon, they will then argue that, look, We had earlier decided
exactly.
okay,
so
even this one,
makes
it follows the same course of action, just like that. In fact, 4 counts could be affected by the decision in one.
It becomes a nullity, or like
yes, you know, cases may be related, you know, things like that. So I'm happy with the drama going on. Some of the nonsense that we are receiving in Rivers is good for the optics. For us in the journalism profession, we are always excited when news breaks. So I'm happy, but we are eager to see how these cases are resolved.
Okay. Yesterday, talk to me. What is the effect of what happened at the Supreme Court, you know, yesterday as regards the political landscape in Rivers?
Probably for those who didn't watch Journalist Hangout yesterday, this is an opportunity to also
go on YouTube,
and see how BKO and I forgot to Balogu
and GKB, yes,
broke it down. I was actually well tutored. That's the word, because I later understood it very well. What happened in the court?
Yes.
You know, this was okay. This is my own word now. These were smart lawyers, Yusuf Ali, who looked at it that let's withdraw. This is not the case where we can win. So that decision was based on the fact that they withdrew. So, but the real issue is what the judgment that have been reserved on. So, for me, Amewele coming out to celebrate or anybody admitting the judgment was not necessary. What is necessary is who are the authentic lawmakers in the state. Because when that decision is taken, and when he said it around 5 p.m., we also had a guest at 10 p.m., G.T. Ogunye, a very well-respected lawyer. In fact, one of the statements we made is that it is only a court that can declare the seat of these lawmakers vacant.
I've been saying that for months.
Exactly. In black and white. And I remember when it was, it's like BK just preempted. So for me, I think there's no two way about it. There's no interest here. We are just interpreting what is clear. And it's years of experience that is being brought to bear. So people should just please drop their sentiment. Look at the law. Law does not send you. That's why they blindfold their face. Exactly. It will only tell you the reality. So please, I don't want to preempt. You can't even preempt what the Supreme Court justices will say. But because the media cannot declare their seat vacant. No. The lawyers that come to different media houses cannot declare. Exactly. And I was looking for anything. Why didn't even them go to court and let this seat be declared vacant? Why are you insulting INEC? Why are you throwing tantrums on people until they see a paper from the court that these seats are declared vacant? That's when they can organize another election.
Yes.
So
I don't know what I mean. Some of these things is
how can I go and conduct another election?
I don't understand. This is plain idiocy. Some of these things that we are seeing, the extent to which Nigerians are going out of pure partisanship.
They even told INEC to go and conduct the election. They were even ordering INEC.
Okay, look, let's even face it. Okay, I always tell them that I'm not a lawyer, but the Constitution is written in a language that I understand.
English.
Both of my parents were English teachers. Woe betide me if I do not understand English. And my mom had a master's in English. She studied in the US. So what are we talking about? Abejide. That is the reference, the case that is usually regarded as the reference case when we are talking about people losing their seats on account of defection. It was the Supreme Court that decided it. He didn't just take to his heels because he from the House because he defected. A court has to take that seat from him.
That's true.
That's it. But you are not prepared to even wait. You are saying they've automatically lost their seat. No, you are wrong. The matter has to be litigated against. Is it not in the Constitution that if you take someone's life, do we then
take laws
suddenly go and slaughter somebody? No. We won't take somebody to court. We just go and cut his head because he killed someone. Look at the musician. The so-called gospel musician who killed his girlfriend. You know?
He has pleaded not guilty.
So why didn't they just take him and cut his neck?
The law
because the law says you lose your life if you take a life. I mean, we should move beyond this kind of baseless emotions, demonstration of emotions, wasting of our emotions. over issues that we know that no matter how much noise we make, no matter how much we bang our heads against the wall, it is still the courts that will decide. You cannot take those seats. It is the courts that can take those seats. I'm not saying it's good for people to defect. I hate it. But you must know that you, by your own mouth, you cannot send people packing from the House of Assembly. It is the courts that will say, yes, you've lost your seat. And the court did that in the case of Abejide. He's still alive.
Okay, now let's talk about resolving the political crisis.
Or Ned Nwoko has he lost his seat?
Is there even a Senate president in this country defected?
Now, the thing is, resolving the political...
A vice president in this country defected.
Exactly.
Atiku Abubakar is the highest ranking political figure to ever defect.
Yes.
And deputy governor of Ondo State defected.
Now, the thing is, resolving the political crisis in Rivers State, how confident are you that the Supreme Court can resolve this crisis?
No. I am that opinion, but Vike may differ with me. But I've always said that the court will play its role. They will do all the necessary things that they need to do.
Okay.
But that is only on paper. The political rivalry will have to be resolved by the political gladiators themselves. If they are ready for war, the war continues. And you know what? We journalists, we are good at
getting to talk about it.
We'll cover the stories as breaking. But if you want to talk
so what you're saying is
political advisors
and also the court, it needs to go to pari-passu.
Yeah, after they've tried their muscle and everything
and you
in
can
court.
You can go nowhere.
Exactly. So they've fleshed their muscles.
You see, we are students of history.
Okay.
Amechi and Magnus Abe. They fought. Amechi said, Magnus Abe will be nothing. And they lost all the seats, all the elections that they contested for. Okay. In the end, what happened? APC could not present candidate, but life goes on.
All right,
the court has done its job, and it ends there.
All right, gentlemen, my director is chewing me out right now. But anyway, Biko, team captain, thank you very much for having this conversation. Kadila Dengi, thank you so much. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga. Bye for now and go.